It was a very hot day. The sky was clear and the sun burnt the skin of the students who crowded into the schoolyard, hoping that the fire drill would end once and for all. The teachers were calling them by name, and one by one they raised their hands in a process that seemed endless. In the back, a small group of 4 friends amused themselves by gossiping about the other students, making fun of them. One of them, Regina, noticed CARMEN WINSTEAD, an unpopular student in her class who used to always be on the sidelines. She was waiting her turn standing alone next to a sewer that happened to be open. Suddenly, Regina had a malicious idea. If they pushed her into the hole, when the teacher said Carmen's name, they could answer, "She's in the sewer," drawing everyone's attention, who would laugh when they saw her come out of there covered in dirt. A mocking smile appeared on Regina's lips, who proposed the idea in a low voice to the rest of the girls, and they all signed up immediately. Little by little, they crowded around Carmen, discreetly pushing her as if they didn't see her. Out of shyness, she didn't protest and let herself be carried away. She didn't notice the hole until she fell inside, barely letting out a startled groan. The plan had gone perfectly, and when the teacher called Carmen, the little group of girls yelled, "She's in the sewer! She's in the sewer!" Everyone cracked up, and Regina looked at them, proud of her handiwork. But suddenly, the laughter began to fade when the teacher looked into the sewer and looked back with a grimace mixed with anguish and terror. Carmen had fallen head first into the hole, and upon reaching the bottom, her neck twisted and her head was left in a physically impossible position. Her face, with a frightened grimace, was half-skinned from rubbing against the walls of the hole. The blood that flowed from her body was dyed dark as it mixed with the dirt and excrement around it. A tear rolled like a weight down Regina's cheeks, who stood paralyzed watching as a huge worm crawled over Carmen's open and lifeless eyes. The police arrived soon after, and the body was removed in complete silence, broken only by the buzz of the flies that accompanied it. During the interrogation, the 4 girls, the only witnesses to the fall, said that it had been an accident, and the police closed the tragic event. However, months later, all the students received a short email titled "Day Poster," which warned the following: Carmen's death was not an accident. Those guilty of the crime must assume their responsibility, or there will be dire consequences. Rumors began to spread, and the girls became very nervous. Regina tried to reassure them. No one saw them push Carmen. It must have been someone who wanted to play a joke. Suddenly, one of the girls disappeared from her house during the night. Her parents thought that she had simply run away and would return the next morning. But when she didn't appear, a search began in the surroundings. That morning in the schoolyard, the janitor, while sweeping up the dry leaves, found that the sewer, which had been covered, was open again. He peeked inside and discovered the lifeless body of the girl, also with a broken neck and a disfigured face. The police assumed the hypothesis that the girl herself had opened the hole and had thrown herself inside to take her own life. Once again, it was decided to close the case without further ado and call some technicians to weld the manhole cover to the ground so that no one could open it. But soon after, it was ripped from the ground again with superhuman strength when the second of the girls was found dead under the same circumstances. This time, the police were baffled and decided to set up a lookout post in the cursed sewer. Regina and her friend, the only survivors of the group, were terrified, and they slept together at night to take care of each other. One of those nights, Regina, half asleep, saw her friend get up from the bed and walk out of the room dragging her feet. She called out to her, but she didn't answer, assuming she had gotten off to go to the bathroom or get a drink of water. But she didn't come back anymore. She was found dead the next morning inside a sewer in front of the house, with the same twisted neck and face shattered in a grimace of terror. Regina was desperate. She spent sleepless nights waiting for the ghost of Carmen Winstead to come for her, and the doctors had to prescribe sleeping pills so she could finally rest. But she woke up once more in the middle of the night and got out of bed. She wandered around the house sleepily, aimlessly, not having a very clear idea of what to do. Heading for the front door, she began to freak out. She tried to turn around and go back into the room, but she realized that she had no control over her body, as if she were a puppet, as if something was guiding her somewhere. She left the house and crossed the garden in the direction of the nearest sewer. Seeing it, she understood everything and panic seized her. She tried to fight with all her might, desperate, but she was unable to regain control of herself. She could only watch the end through her eyes. She bent down and almost effortlessly removed the heavy manhole cover. She stood at the edge and, looking into the darkness within, she caught a glimpse of a grotesque face waiting for her at the bottom with a devilish grin. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, and if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!